rally for the ages. Down 7, the Indians scored 13 unanswered to beat the Rangers and move back into first place in the AL Central. It wasn't just one guy or even 3 guys. It was a total team effort, aided by a standout performance from the lockdown bullpen. Mark June 26th on your calendar, the day the Indians did it as a team. And tonight, they'll try to keep the pedal to the metal. Next on Sports Time Ohio. A gorgeous evening in downtown Cleveland, Ohio, as the Indians look to keep the momentum rolling on their side. What a night we had at the Ball-Yard last night in the series opener. It's game 2 of this 4-game match between the Indians and the Texas Rangers. Hi again, everyone. Matt Underwood alongside Rick Manning. After the Indians were swept over the weekend against Minnesota and the offense was largely absent, it looked like here we go again last night. But instead, out of nowhere, the Indians' offense turned in a performance we won't soon forget.
Well, they got sucker punched early, and I'll tell you what, they came back with a vengeance. They had the heart of a lion. They never quit. Texas walked 7 batters. The Indians just continued to get base hit after base hit. They didn't even hit a home run. They had 28 opportunities with runners in scoring position. They only had 23 all weekend against Minnesota, and you have to look back 5 years since a comeback like that. It doesn't happen often, but last night you would certainly love to see this Indians team build from the way they were able to fight back, from that deficit that they had from the Texas Rangers.
15 runs without a homer, hadn't been done since 1983. And what sort of gets overlooked in last night's performance, it was a tale of 2 bullpens. The Indians' bullpen was very good. Texas, that has been their Achilles heel.
It's been that all year long, and the Indians got them off on the wrong foot. But the Indians bullpen, 3 saves against Texas on the course of the year in their 4 wins. They had 10 strikeouts in 5 2/3. They allowed just 1 run. And, they've done this all year long, and that's what happens when you fall behind early. That bullpen has to come out, has to put zeros on the board to give you an opportunity to win. They did that last night. The offense came back. It was a total team effort.
As my partner said, it went from a rout to a rout last night, and the Indians were on the right end of this one. Coming up next, Alan Jensen have the showstopper. Plus, Andre Knott has the latest on tribe skipper Terry Francona straight ahead. Cleveland Indians baseball is brought to you by W.B. Mason, the official office supplier of the Cleveland Indians. By McDonald's, I'm loving it. By your local Toyota dealers. Visit buyatoyota.com. Toyota, let's go places. And by Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
Tonight, game 2 in a 4-game series. Yeah, the Indians offense yesterday, it was going, and it was going late. 15-9 the final after they came back from a 9-2 deficit. Hi again, everybody. Welcome in along with Jensen Lewis. Al Pulowski here tonight. Let's talk about the showstopper, and that is Chris Sale, who got his 10th win yesterday, but his 155 strikeouts leads all of Major League Baseball.
No question about it, Al. He had a stretch of 8 games straight earlier this year with 10 or more strikeouts. You see last night, you mentioned his 10th win. He's 7-1 at Fenway Park this year, a 2.34 ERA, but most importantly, you went out to get an ace. You got to win the games that he starts. Boston is 12-4 in games he toes the rubber.
No doubt he's been a nice pickup for the Red Sox, and he has delivered. Our guys that deliver, Matt Underwood, Rick Manning, and Andre Knott, they are next with the call of the game. Guys, take it away.
Thanks, Al. The Indians piled up 17 strikeouts last night during their come-from-behind win over Texas, and we'll see if they can get off to a little better start here this evening. They will be without manager Terry Francona once again tonight, with more on that downstairs to Andre Knott.
Well, it's been a tough few weeks for Terry Francona as he's been dealing with an illness, and last night he had to leave the game early, as most know. Tonight he's not in the dugout, and with the latest information on what exactly is going on with Terry Francona, here's team president Chris Antonetti in tonight's Hear Right Sounds of the Game.
As a friend, you're always concerned anytime anyone has to, especially someone like Tito, who has an exceedingly high pain tolerance, and for him to leave a game, it raises a flag. But thankfully, again, we've got some great doctors that are coordinating his care at the clinic, and they've done every test you could possibly imagine, and they've all come back clean. So they're now working to try to figure out maybe what are some of those things that are just causing him to not feel so well. Tito wanted me to share that the working diagnosis is an allergy to Millsy, so I'll make sure I pass that along.
All kidding aside, Brad Mills and Terry Francona go way back to their college days in Arizona, and Terry would want nobody other than Mills in charge here tonight during his absence, but he's watching at his home on television. So hello, Tito, hope you're feeling better, and look forward to seeing you back here at the yard real soon. In the meantime, Mike Clevenger and the Tribe take the field against the Texas Rangers here tonight. Let's get a look at Jeff Bannister's starting 9 for Texas, brought to you by Hankook Tires, and it will be Delino DeShields leading off, and then that man, Shin-Soo Choo, batting second. Elvis Andrus is third. Adrian Beltre, coming off a double and a homer last night, will hit cleanup. Nomar Mazara is fifth. Mike Napoli batting sixth. Then it's Rougned Odor. Robinson Chirinos behind the plate tonight, batting eighth, and Joey Gallo will hit ninth.
And Mike Clevenger will be our Northern Ohio Honda starting pitcher. It'll be his 9th start this year for the Tribe. And Mike is looking for his first win here at Progressive Field. He's 0-2. He has started 3 games here. Coming off a win in Baltimore. He had to bob and weave a little bit early in that game. He went 5 innings, gave up a couple of runs on 6 hits, but issued 4 walks, and that has been his problem. Mike's got to go out there, try to command the strike zone, especially against a hard-hitting team like Texas. It'll be his first start ever against the Rangers. He has pitched in a couple of games against them, but we'll see what he has to deliver here tonight in a starting assignment. Let's check out the defense behind him tonight, brought to you by Ram. It looks like this. Welcome back. Michael Brantley in left field. Zimmer's in center. Chisenhall over and right. Ramirez is at third. Lindor at short. Kipnis at second. Santana at first, with Gomes doing the catching.
New crew chief tonight, Jerry Davis. He's behind the plate. Tony Randazzo at first. Rob Drake at second. Pat Hoberg down at third. And so we're just about ready to go with Michael Brantley back in the lineup, back on the field tonight. 69 degrees, clear skies. Hopefully we won't have to deal with any of the precipitation that we had last night. But the Indians, they proved that not only are they great at coming from behind, but they're mutters.
Well, you got to be a mutter to play in Cleveland. You're going to see a lot of rain.
They powered right through it last night. And meanwhile, Jeff Bannister's club, they wilted under the conditions as the Indians just kept bringing the offensive pressure, and the Rangers had no answer. But as we say, today is a new day. The Indians begin play a half game up in the AL Central. With 40 wins against 35 losses, Texas is a 500 club coming in 38-38. The Indians have won all 4 head-to-head matchups this season. Delino DeShields leading off, and Mike Clevenger with a fastball right down the heart of the dish for strike one. Delino DeShields did not start last night. He came in late as a defensive replacement. And looks at a pitch low and away to even the count.
This reminds me of our game in spring training, San Antonio, where Clevenger started against the Rangers and DeShields was leading off, except we were over the third baseline. Much better view this time.
We were indoors.
Yes,
and we were in as
a
you say,
bandbox.
Yeah, near the Alamo. DeShields starting for the 5th time in the last 11 games for Texas. Outside 2-2. He's picked up a hit in 12 of his last 15 games to bump his average from 267 up to 292. Off-speed pitch is fouled out of play. When DeShields has been in the lineup, it's almost always been in the leadoff spot. He's either batted leadoff 29 times or 9th.
Well,
12 times.
Yeah, he can bunt. He can run. He has 18 stolen bases. You know, he makes things happen.
Another foul back out of play.
Chu led off the game last night on the very first pitch with a double, bringing double into right center field. He moved down to the number 2 hole. Andrus, who was hitting second, is in the 3rd spot. So they put DeShields up there and just moved everybody else down.
There's a good curveball, and he struck him out with it. 1 away.
Look at the breaking ball coming from Clevenger. Very good one on the outside edge, 75 miles per hour. So there's the curveball. 1 up, 1 down.
And Shin-Soo Choo steps in. He was 1 for 4 last night, scored a couple of runs. And as Rick said, he started the game with a ringing double off the wall in right center. Choo spent 7 seasons with the Cleveland Indians from 06 through 2012. Blew it by him. And he always swung the bat well here in Cleveland, a .298 hitter in his career here at Progressive Field. Foul right back. Be hard pressed to find anybody that had a bad thing to say about Chu. I mean, he's respectful, plays hard.
Yeah, he was a good player while he was here. Ended up going to work Cincinnati and then signed a big deal with Texas.
And you remember when he first came to the Indians, you know, the English language wasn't exactly easy for him, but he worked through that, worked extremely hard to improve his ability to communicate. The 0-2 down low, a ball and 2 strikes. Now the 1-2. Again, he reaches for it and fouls it off. You know, we always thought it was interesting because he was one of those guys who maybe never fit the classic mold of where he fit in the lineup. You know, a lot of people thought, well, he's a leadoff guy. Some people thought, well, he's a perfect 3 hitter. He can move around. That's the bottom line, is he's been successful just about anywhere.
And he's patient at the plate. He'll take his walks. Heck, when he
right field, back goes Lonnie. 2 down. The storylines tonight are brought to you by Wayside Furniture. Oh, they see the Indians can get out to an early lead for a change here at home. And keep Elvis in the building.
Elvis is staying in the building. He'd love to stay here.
We want to make him do some encore numbers.
Well, he will. He's loved coming here. 31 of 32 games he has a hit in.
But last night, 2 home runs. 3-run shot and then a solo homer. And when he hit the solo homer, it felt like lights out. That made it 9-2.
Right.
And you just thought, well, man, they just can't. It's one thing to try and come back. They can't stop the Rangers the way they were scoring runs last night. But boy, that was it.
Well, the bullpen did what they had to do, and the offense did exactly what they had to do.
Routine fly ball to center. Bradley Zimmer makes the catch. It's a 1-2-3 first for Mike Clevenger. The Indians are coming to bat. Up tonight is brought to you by Progressive Insurance. Jason Kipnis back in the leadoff spot. Francisco Lindor batting in the 2-hole. Michael Brantley hits third. Then it's Edwin Encarnacion, Jose Ramirez, and Lonnie Chisenhall. Both Jose and Lonnie combined for 3 hits last night. Carlos Santana, Bradley Zimmer, and Yan Gomes rounded out.
And our Northern Ohio Hyundai starting pitcher, Tyson Ross, making his 3rd start this year. He's the 30-year-old right-hander. Signed by the Rangers. He had surgery, thoracic outlet syndrome, in October, so he's coming back and just used to be a good sinker ball pitcher and keep the ball down in the zone. We'll see.
First pitch to Kipnis is in the dirt, ball 1. Jason was 1 for 4 last night with a run batted in.
Yeah, you're going to have to be patient and make this guy get in the strike zone. He has walked 4 in his 8 2/3 innings in his 2 starts. He had a rough one last time against Toronto.
Jason has always been good with the self-deprecating style of humor. After last night's win, he tweeted out what a great victory it was and included the hashtag "even I got a hit." The 3-1 and a line drive single up the middle. So Kipnis begins the game with a leadoff base hit, and it brings up Francisco Lindor.
And let's set that Rangers defense for you, brought to you by WB Mason. It'll be Mazzara in left to Shields in center, Chu over in right. Beltre is at third, Andrus at short, Odor at second, Gallo is at first. Chirinos will be doing the catching tonight.
Rick, for fans at home who may be wondering, looking at the lineup, why the Indians flip-flop Lindor and Kipnis?
Well, I'm thinking the switch hitter in between them. You know, Lindor, they like to go with that lefty, and then you have a switch hitter in case they want to make a pitching change later.
All predicated upon the return of Michael Brantley,
Absolutely.
who has been absent. He'd be in that left-handed bat in the 3-hole.
You had Ramirez batting third, which I know you loved, and
I loved it. Yeah.
certainly a productive batter there. But with Brantley back in the lineup and in his familiar spot,
I think they like this better with Lindor in the second spot with Kipnis leading off, and Kip goes out and gets a base hit. Had the count in his favor, 3-1. But I totally understand how they want protection for Encarnacion and pitch around him, and that's a tough. When you put Santana right behind him, and you don't have base runners for those two guys, you got a lot of big swings and misses in between.
the 1-1. Lindor shoots one toward left field, and it's caught by Mazzara. That one had a slicing action, and it just went right back into the tracks of Mazzara for out number 1.
Good swing, good at bat. Just hit it right at him.
Well, here is Michael Brantley returning to the lineup. Brantley had been bothered by an ankle injury, and he was trying to play his way through it. But they figured it was a good time to just give it a break, and so that it wouldn't be something that lingered and plagued him throughout the rest of the year. Michael has swung the bat very well here at home, batting .313 at Progressive Field. And Ross evens the count of 1-1. Tyson Ross grew up literally right down the road from the Coliseum in Oakland, California. That was his team. Those were his guys. So imagine what a big thrill it was when they made him a second-round pick out of Cal Berkeley. Made his debut with Oakland. But then in 2012, the Padres made a deal with Oakland to get Tyson Ross. And last year, after the season, he became a free agent, signed with Texas. The 1-1 up high. But as Rick pointed out, he had that thoracic outlet syndrome, which requires surgery. It's amazing how many pitchers have gone through that.
Yeah, it was I forget who the very first one we heard was that had it. It might have been Jeremy Bonderman with Detroit.
Foul back. Yeah.
You know, when you think about it, thank you, Redbird. That was outstanding. You know, because he had a good year, and then all of a sudden he had to have that surgery. We're saying, what's that? You know, you didn't really know what it was.
Sounds really bad, doesn't it? Thoracic outlet syndrome. What? It makes you wonder, what did they do before they knew what it was? What did guys do?
Same thing they did with the Tommy John. You had a sore elbow.
You just you
pitch.
You either pitched through it or you didn't pitch at all, I guess. 2-2. Brantley lifts a fly ball to right. Chu makes the catch, and there are 2 down.
For the drive batting forward, the designated hitter, number 10, Encarnacion.
Edwin Encarnacion, 2 for 5 last night. A double, scored a couple of runs. Checks his swing and rolls it right back to Ross for an easy out to end the inning. No runs ahead, a man left after 1, no score.
The #1 live streaming sports service is better than ever. Watch every out-of-market game live at home or in the office or on the go for just $19.99. Visit MLB TV for the details.
Mike Napoli due up third here in the second inning for Texas. Adrian Beltre will lead it off. Pitch is down low.
Beltre, the big 3-run homer in the first inning last night. He caught a slider right here. And when you see the end of this play, Elvis Andrus always messes with him in his head. And you can see it was like Ramirez when Santana did that to him in Minnesota. They don't like it.
Smashed into right field. Adrian Beltre leads off the second with an opposite field single. Let's go down to Andre.
You know, I sat down with Mike Napoli, and you'll hear from it tomorrow, most likely, about his relationship with Jose Ramirez and how he helped kind of bring Jose out of his comfort zone. Now, in talking about that and talking to some of the Texas people, they say that Nap has come over to Texas and done the same thing with Nomar Mazara. He's taken him under his wing. They talk hitting. They play cards. But he's a guy that can be a sounding board for Nomar. And Nomar, I guess, has taken to being a part of Nap's party, per se, and it's really helped him out so much this season. He appreciates what Nap brings to the table when talking to him about hitting and life in baseball.
Well, when you're a young player and you have, you know, a sounding board like that, and Napoli, who's been around and been in the playoffs and been on world championships teams, you should listen. If you're a young player, you could only learn.
Low and away, it's 2-0. And he missed again. 3 balls, no strikes. And he missed again. 4 straight. And now they've got 2 on with nobody out. Out goes Gomes for a quick chat. Now Mike Napoli. He's going to be digging in here.
Well, that's his problem in his last start in Baltimore when he went at those Orioles early. If you throw your off-speed pitches early in the count, you know, no balls, you have to throw them for strikes to prove that you can get them over. And then you can use your fastball, work around that, and then when you get ahead of the hitters, you can maybe throw them out of the zone then. But you can't do it early in the count with no strikes because they're going to take it.
Napoli was 1 for 4 last night, struck out 3 times. Starts him off with a fastball, painting it on the outside corner for strike 1. Napoli's 6th inning single last night snapped an 0 for 13 slump at the plate. And over his last 9 games, 4 for 27 with 13 strikeouts.
Well, they have a team that searches the fastball early, and you make your pitches, you can have a chance of striking them out. They struck out 17 Rangers last night. There's a changeup.
And a changeup, but look where this pitch is. It's on the outside part of the plate.
Well, maybe that's the changeup to the righty where he can really get it over there and not worry about it and has some comeback to it.
2 on, nobody out. 1-2 pitch. Went to the fastball away. Now the 2-2. Napoli showing good plate discipline here. Full count.
Yeah, that's the one they called. They called for that slider and tried to get him to swing, and he did not. The veterans take that pitch.
Everything has been away. Got him. Bottom of the strike zone with a fastball. Second strikeout for Napoli. First out in the inning.
Well, he did that last night, Matt, on a 3-2 pitch. He took it and he was going to try and take that shin guard off, but no, that was a good pitch. At the knees, it had the plate. He just couldn't pull the trigger. So Clevenger gets the first out of the second inning and his second strikeout tonight.
And brings up Rougned Odor, 0 for 4 last night. Last night was not an easy night if you're a member of the Texas Rangers media. You go into the clubhouse after a game like that, it's tough to find guys that even want to talk, and let alone what do you ask after a collapse like that. And one of the writers asked manager Jeff Bannister, how do you put this into context, a loss like this? And he was very succinct. When you score 9, you expect to win. It was a 13-run turnaround. That's how you put it into context. Nothing more than that.
And those games rarely happen.
Indians scored 13 unanswered. And as you said, rare. You just don't see it.
No. Yeah,
so
the last time we saw a game similar was 5 years ago.
So when it happens, if you're in his position, you don't want to make a big deal of it. You want to put it to bed. It was what it was, and let's move forward tomorrow.
You know what? That's about the only guy that can speak to it is the manager, because the players certainly do not want to. What are you going to go ask one of those pitchers?
Odor with a fly ball, shallow left. In comes Brantley and makes the catch for out number 2. Yeah, they felt probably worse than anybody. Yeah,
they had a bad day at the office, and I'll tell you what, you want to turn the page and get rid of it as quickly as possible. It's a great thing about baseball. There's always a game tomorrow, so they've got that on their mind. But you know, it's just part of 162. Some days are not so fun, and that was one not fun for the Rangers.
And it was just what the Indians needed, just in the nick of time too.
After the way they were going, they scored 2 runs over the weekend. They had 23 guys in scoring position all 3 games. They had 28 last night
in 1 game.
So it was crazy. Just a weird situation. But you're right, the Indians needed it.
Robinson Chirinos getting the start tonight behind the plate, batting .242. He's belted 10 home runs on the year.
Yeah, you don't hit 10 in Texas, they may get rid of you. I mean, these guys, they've always had guys. You go back for years and years. I mean, into the 70s, they had guys that could hit home runs. From Jeff Burroughs on.
Swung on and missed. It's quickly 0-2.
Down in the dirt. Brad Mills managing in absence of Terry Francona, who expects to be back with the club tomorrow night. Mike Clevenger trying to get out of trouble here. 2 on, 2 out, 1-2 pitch. Swung out and missed. He struck him out. Number 3 for Clevenger. Middle of the second, no score in Cleveland. Brought to you by Buick. Jose Ramirez over the last month has batted over 400. He has scored 29 runs. 23 of his 48 hits have gone for extra bases. 9 times he's had a 3-hit game.
Wow.
The only thing he hasn't
12 on
done
the year, and he had 9 this.
Is driving a lot of runs. And as I said to you, it's just weird the way things have worked out. Last night he bats third. He ends up leading off 3 times in the game. And it just haven't been a lot of opportunities for him.
And he got on base all 3 times he led off. Well, it's just a matter of how it falls. You can change your lineup, and the guys that are struggling, you put them in different spots, and they end up coming up with all the guys on base. And you're trying to take some pressure off them, and that's just the way it works sometimes. But this guy is he's as consistent as there is. He is energy. He just plays day in and day out and never says a word and goes about his business, both offensively and defensively.
And he takes down low, ball 4. And so the Indians keep their streak alive. 10 for 10 in the series.
Wow.
They've had their leadoff man aboard.
I didn't even think about it.
Monty Chisenhall last night, a great clip of the game. He had 3 hits. He had 3 runs batted in. And it was his clutch 2-run hit that gave the Indians the lead for good. That came in the 6th inning.
Yeah, he's been clutch this year, driving in the runs. Lonnie now with 40 RBIs, ties him with Encarnacion. Santana has 41. Ramirez was back in plenty of time. Last night it was one of those games that
for people like Tombeau, Shenik, and Mike Pock. For the stats guys, it was one of those dream games because so many crazy things, rare things are happening, and they're busy researching and trying to figure out when was the last time this happened. I thought one of the most amazing things was that I read today that we haven't kept track of the runner in scoring position stat has only been kept officially since 1974.
Okay.
And since that happened, the 11 for 28 that the Indians put up last night is the most hits and at bats with runners in scoring position by the Indians ever since 1974 when they started keeping track of it.
That's a boatload when you think about it.
And you think about those 95, 96, 97, 98 Indians teams that had great offenses.
Well, they hit home runs and
they wiped the bases clean.
They didn't have a home run in that game. That's what made it so unique.
Right.
They had one extra base hit until the 8th inning when they had 4 doubles in that inning. So that's what was weird. And Tommy ran out of ink and 3 different pens in his pocket last night. He had to go to the dollar store today.
And that was another note. Again, these guys were hard. They were deep into the computer last night. Based on the available box scores dating back to 1913. First time Cleveland scored 14 or more without a home run since right after they traded you. And that may be a coincidence, maybe not. July 31st, 1983. Last time that happened. They got rid of you and they started taking base hits and stopped swinging for the fences.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I used to do every night.
But that was you're right. That was an oddity that up until their last at bat, they had 1 extra base hit.
Yeah,
and then they get 4 doubles in 1 inning.
Something you may never see again. And if you do see it, it's going to take a long time.
Great jump by Hosey. He's in there easily with a stolen base, and that'll be his 9th on the year.
Yeah, he was creeping off, and he kept looking and lurking, and that gives him 9 stolen bases, which is the team lead. Look at head down, didn't look back. He was stealing it straight out.
Now an opportunity for Lonnie Chisenhall with a runner in scoring position, albeit on a 3-2 count. And he pulls it foul right in and out of the Texas dugout.
Oh, that ball almost went between his legs. That ball down and in, and he somehow got the barrel out there. You don't. How many times do you see a guy pull it that close into the dugout?
I was just looking at that. What are you supposed the angle? What's the launch angle on that ball going from home plate?
I don't know, man. That was weird from where we sit.
It just looked weird of the first base dugout. Foul right back. It stays 3-2.
Tyson Ross, a guy you have to make him get in the zone. You can get yourself in pretty good hitters counts. So far tonight, 26 pitches, 13 balls, 13 strikes. And we've seen that a lot lately from a lot of pitchers.
Yeah.
You know, where there haven't been a lot of aggressive pitchers. I mean, killing the strike zone.
And the 8th pitch of the at bat, a soft single into center. Great jump by Ramirez. He'll come around and score the game's first run. Lonnie Chisenhall delivers his 4th run batted into the series. 1-0 Cleveland. And with that, Lonnie takes over the team lead and runs batted in, his 41st on the season. Oh, he's tied with Santana for the team lead with 41.
Well, there's a slider. He gets it down around the trademark, but he gets it, places it perfectly. So the stolen base pays dividends. Ramirez comes in and scores. They get on the board. Chisenhall is 41st ribby, and they'll play from in front. First time in the last 6 games that they've been able to take the lead.
Now Carlos Santana, who last night showing bunt, pulls it back. Santana last night in back-to-back at bats, 1 in the 6th, 1 in the 7th. An RBI single, RBI double.
Well, for them to run early with Ramirez, it looks like that Tyson Ross is not really fast. You can get a jump.
Odor goes to Andrus for one, back to first. It'll be a double play.
For the drive, batting eighth, the center fielder for Bradley.
So that'll bring up Bradley Zimmer. Zimmer, who had a good night last night with a couple of hits, a double, 2 runs driven in. Well, the Indians strike first, but Ross gets a double play ball to quiet a potential rally. And therein, that's kind of the life of a sinker ball pitcher in a nutshell. You're going to give up some hits. The hope is that every once in a while they hit one of those ground balls at an infielder. You get some double plays turned behind you and limit the damage that way. Zimmer lifts a fly ball deep center. Back is to Shields on the warning track, makes the catch to end the inning. Jose Ramirez with a walk and a steal. Lonnie Chisenhall brings him home. Indians out in front 1-0. Attorneys at Elk and Elk. Well, Austin Jackson was placed on the disabled list this afternoon with that quad injury, and the Indians called Sean Armstrong back from the minor leagues to put him to take his spot on the roster. So they're short on the bench, but long in the bullpen. Joey Gallo will lead it off.
This is a guy that takes up a lot of that space in the batter's box with that wide open stance, back foot sort of on that back line and on the plate. You can see he has a little lift and separation to that swing, doesn't he?
Tell you what, he's a big guy and he does not get cheated. And he's got, as we saw last night, he's not just a dead pull hitter. He's got good power.
Well, he
to
hit
all fields.
Yeah, he hit a breaking ball to left center field last night. Deep left center field, more towards center. Well, that's the breaking ball. It stayed away, and he stayed on it. And boy, he's got those arms that just had that slight uppercut. A typical left-hander, and you can see it went deep to that left center field part of the ballpark.
Gallo draws a leadoff walk. Let's go down to Andre, who has more on Austin Jackson and his status.
Well, with that quad injury, it's not going to be one that's going to be very quick. He's probably going to be out 3 to 4 weeks. And when I say 3 to 4 weeks, they hope he's back with the team in 3 to 4 weeks. So it's going to take a couple weeks to settle that down and get him back. And he'll probably have to go on a rehab before he comes back here. Now, also, you guys are talking about Delino DeShields leading off tonight and how he came into the game late yesterday. For the Rangers, Carlos Gomez, we found out before the game from Jeff Bannister, pulled something in his back, kind of tight on him, so that's why he's not in the lineup tonight and why he left last night.
All right, thanks, Andre. It's amazing how some guys just can't seem to catch a break when it comes to staying healthy. And Austin Jackson is already now on his second stint on the DL this year.
Yeah, that first time was the toe. This one's a quad, and boy, he was swinging it as well as we've seen him swing it in a long time.
Last year, he missed most of the season with knee surgery. 2 years ago, he had a right ankle sprain that cost him a month. Back in 2013, he missed a month with a hamstring strain. In 2012, he missed a month with an abdominal strain. It just seems like every year it's something different. It's never just that nagging same sort of injury that keeps popping up. It's just Delino DeShields struck out his only time up in the first, and that pitch sailed out of the zone.
The Rangers 1 for 7 the first time through the lineup off Mike Clevenger. A couple of walks.
Ground ball towards
They'll
short.
get one.
Lindor goes to Kip. They'll get the force on Gallo. There's a situation right there where you're really thankful for baseball is not a contact sport. Because if Gallo's going in there to second base with bad intentions, Jason Kipnis has no shot in that matchup.
It used to be that way.
Not many guys would. You're right, though. When I think about 25, 30 years ago, he might be in left field right now trying to pick himself up.
He could have been. That way, no, and a ball in that situation like that, he'd be going down to take out a second baseman, but you'd catch it and move out
Get out of the way quick.
Because you're not, you're not going to turn it. You can stay there now. They're not going to run into you.
Who was it? We were talking about this, I think maybe back in spring training when all the rules, were kind of spelled out about, hey, the play at second base, there's no contact. Was it Hal McRae knocked somebody sideways?
It was Willie Randolph, I think.
In the playoffs?
Yes, it was Hal.
Back in the 70s, I think we were using that as an example.
Kansas City, New York. It was, I think, Willie Randolph, if I'm not mistaken. That was one time.
I mean, you watch that
guys
now.
Used to do that a lot. Oh, you'd say, how could he'd be thrown out
right.
of the game.
I mean,
he'd go back into the dugout. They'd say, nice slide.
My, how times have changed. Swing and a miss by Chu.
And I mean.
Well, here we go.
Hey, for all you youngsters, check this out. This is the way you play.
I mean,
there he goes. He could reach the base. And the run scored.
He's 5-6 feet past second base.
Hey, well, that's the way it was played.
Boom.
But that was a roll block. That was a roll block. Look at that. That was legal.
Now the 0-2.
You see that now, and people go, "Oh my goodness, that's a collision. That's a a car wreck."
That's what I was referring to. If Joey Gallo goes into Jason Kipnis with his size and the different what you're giving up right there, you might not get up.
No, you wouldn't. Don Baylor used to do that too.
And he's a big man.
There was a guy, Angel Hermosa, that played second base for the Indians, and he knocked him and broke his leg into left field. I think the picture of that was on Sports Illustrated in about '74.
0-2 pitch, runner goes, and Chu fouls it into the photo bay next to the Texas dugout. Hal McRae was not afraid to stick his nose in there, and this is when he was with Cincinnati. Now that's just a straight
block
football move.
Yeah, that was.
There's no baseball there at all.
There.
Oh my goodness.
Look at that. Who was that? Dick Green?
I mean, it's one thing if you're trying to sort of slide.
Unbelievable, wasn't it?
I think you'd be penalized in the NFL for that now.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
Block him below the waist. Sorry, can't do that anymore.
Be ejected.
Keeping an eye on Delino to Shields. Well, obviously the whole reason for the crackdown and the changing of that rule is they don't want players getting hurt. DeShields takes off, swing and a miss, throw down. Got him.
Well, Gomes continues to throw the ball beautifully. He doesn't think so, so maybe they'll check it. They're going to maybe look at it. Well, I'll tell you what, he had a good jump. Steve Buechele is on the phone, waiting to hear from their video guy, and he got a little change up away. Here comes the throw. He might be safe.
All depends on the hand. Does the hand
let's see
get
this
to
angle.
the bag?
Yes, his hand got to the bag, I think. They tagged him at the waist. His hand is on the bag now. I think they might call him safe here. Let's see this angle.
They say no thank you.
Really?
Texas
well, maybe
does
they
not
felt
want to take a chance.
I think that's probably right. They don't want to take a chance.
Strike him out, throw him out, double play. Middle of the third, 1-0 Cleveland. Tonight, stay tuned later in the game for Miller Time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Now, Yan Gomes, who made the good throw to erase Delino to Shields, will lead off the home half of the third. Gomes has thrown out better than 45% of the would-be base stealers on the year.
That's unbelievable. That's outstanding. 45%. He has been right on the mark this year.
First base umpire Tony Randazzo said he held up. Man, a little low. 3 balls, no strikes.
Yeah, patience is the key word against Tyson Ross.
Indians leading at 1-0. Jose Ramirez, a leadoff walk in the second, came around on a Lonnie Chisenhall base hit. And make it 11 straight innings. The Indians have had their leadoff man aboard in the series.
Well, download MLB's free ballpark app to securely manage your tickets and skip lines by gaining access to our mobile-only gates. Plus, you'll unlock special offers from our partner KeyBank and more. Visit Indians.com for more info. All 8 innings last night and the first 3 innings tonight. You have the leadoff man aboard. Good things happen. 7 hits and 4 walks. Good things happen when you get the leadoff man. It's tougher to start rallies like you get those 2 outs and runners on. There's not a whole lot you can do.
Well, and more than anything, the pitcher, he's out of the stretch. So if there's any comfort level a pitcher has working out of the windup,
right,
that's gone.
Right. Cole Hamels had more. He was better out of the stretch. Everybody reached last night off him.
I'll give Cole Hamels credit for one thing. He didn't pitch. He wasn't sharp, but he didn't leave either. I mean, he stuck around, and even as that had to be hard to watch from that dugout as it was slipping away.
Yeah, he's a pro.
Ground ball, first base, just foul, says Randazzo. Man, oh man, was that close. Hugging the line. Gallo dove for it because he thought it was going to be fair.
He's right on the bag, though, is Randazzo. Let's take a look. See, he's sitting right in foul territory. He has a perfect look.
Yep, good call.
You know, a few inches off the bag. He had a very good look at it.
Popped him up, right field. Chu coming in. 1 down. Coming up tonight after the game on the Tribe Report, the week that was. Alan Jensen's All-Star Game predictions. Francisco Lindor helps out youth baseball in Baltimore, and the GMC plays of the week. It's all coming up after the game tonight.
She's all decked out in her pink Indians garb.
Had a chance to sit down with Francisco Lindor this afternoon. We taped a special that will be coming up on Sports Time Ohio in a few weeks. And obviously, he is extremely excited about the Indians going to Puerto Rico next year for a series against the Minnesota Twins. And he told me something, you know, about the number he wears. Roberto Clemente he's an icon in Puerto Rico.
21.
And Lindor's father wore the number 21. Then Frankie's older brother wore 12, sort of 21 in reverse.
Right.
Frankie said, I grew up idolizing Robbie Alomar, and so the 12 and the 21, it's all intertwined.
It mixes.
It's a part of the great rich heritage of the baseball tradition from Puerto Rico.
Beautiful.
With Gomes at first and 1 out. 2-1 pitch. Nope. Toss over instead.
What's that? A token toss with Gomes over there?
Jan hasn't even attempted a stolen base.
And not this year, and I don't think in the last few years. 2-1 count. That's it. It's an action count.
Shallow pop to left. Mazzara late break, and he makes the catch.
You see, DeShields fell down out there. Yeah, he was looking to come in. He fell and slipped on the grass. Watch DeShields. He broke back and went to come in. He was down. So if that was a little more towards center field, he might have had a knock.
Well, not to mention, it was weird that he broke back on that. He fooled by the swing.
Sometimes you see the swing and you do that. Take a step back, but you try, and if you're not sure, just hold your ground.
Well, so far the Indians unable to do anything with the leadoff walk. Michael Brantley.
Well, that's the same thing in the first inning. After Kipnis had the single, he stayed at first base, 3 straight outs. They had the walk. Last inning, they were able to steal a base, and the base hit brings him home, and then he got the double play in and out. So he's trying to shut him down after the leadoff man gets aboard again.
It's funny, you think about the sinker baller Tyson Ross, at least the guy we used to know as a sinker baller. 5 fly ball outs already here.
Yeah, well, I'm sure it's different. After coming off that surgery, he's got to play catch up. Okay, thanks for that info. We got Gomes 2 for 2 in his career in stolen bases. Those came in 2013. Get back to you on that one in 2021.
He doesn't go often, but boy, when he goes, they don't get him.
No, he's quick. He saves it up.
One ball, 2 strikes, the count on Brantley, returning to the lineup after his stint on the DL. Yeah, chopper to third. Beltre's throw is low, but a nice job on the backhanded pick by Joey Gallo. Weird play. Beltre
almost got
initially looked
going
at second, and there was nobody there.
Right.
But they get out of the inning. 1-0 Cleveland after 3. And he's bringing the strong Goulardi look with him to Progressive Field here tonight. I like it.
Yeah, Big Frank threw out the first pitch tonight.
T-Mobile Unlimited Baseball break. Elvis Andrus, he's done well here.
Yeah, this guy right from day one against the Indians, he has been unbelievable. He's a good player, solid shortstop.
He's 0 for 1 tonight, flied out to center in the first. leads off the fourth for Texas.
That was his second career home run, multi-home run game last night.
Checked his swing. Oh, he got a piece of the bat, though.
It sounded like it was a foul ball.
Into the glove of Gomes, and it's 0-2.
I was going to ask because it sounded like, you know how you say the umpires hear it when it hits the jersey? Listen. There it was right at the end.
Outside with a fastball. Off the end of the bat towards center. Zimmer making the catch. 1 away. You made the reference to me the other day about Bradley Zimmer. Now, granted, it hasn't even been half a year yet. But
no, exactly.
He covers so much ground. And, Rick, it seems like, and give Brad Mills and Mike Sarbaugh and the Indians coaching staff credit, to where they set him up pre-pitch. We haven't seen him really have to leave his feet to make a play.
Not yet. This is his 38th game. You know, so you're a quarter of the way for him because he didn't get called up till later. But for him playing center, I've never seen him dive yet. Really dive and have to go out flat out and run and go get it. We will in due time. We'll see it. But you like the way he's breaking on balls. That's the one thing they look for when you get called up. The jumps you get on the balls off the bat, whether you break back or break in. He plays relatively shallow. And he's only going to get better. You know, once he gets to know the hitters, the pitchers, the counts, and he gets to know the ballparks he's playing in other than his own. You know, because every time we go on the road, it's someplace new for him.
2-2. And once he makes up his mind, once he's got a true route.
Oh, he's going to be great.
It's like 4 steps and he's there every time.
And first step explosion is the key for an outfielder. Getting that first step and getting your shoulders and hips going in the right direction.
Lindor throws over, 2 away.
At bat now for Texas, number 30, Nomar Mazara.
And we'll bring up Nomar Mazara. Drew a walk his only time up tonight. Was way started out. They appealed and the third base umpire said he went around.
Yes, he did.
He was really starting early on that.
I don't know.
Well, I don't know either.
I don't know. That looked like he had more body movement than anything else.
Now, when you watch that previous swing, though, is that a case where you just got fooled by the pitch, or is that where you're truly cheating? You're trying to get out
guessing a little
quick.
bit for a fastball. These guys search the heater first pitch. But you know, Mazara walked last time up back in the second inning. They had first and second, and nobody out. But Clevenger's been fine with runners on today. Texas 0 for 5. He had 8 swings and misses. Coming into this inning, 6-0-2, 1-2 counts.
Boy, that was a nice changeup, 2-2. Get a hitter in a fastball count, seeking the fastball, and just faded away.
And down. You like the down.
Swung on and missed with a great breaking ball. Boy, Clevenger sharp tonight. 5 strikeouts in 4 shutout innings of work. 1-0 Cleveland.
On the starting third base spot for the 2017 All-Star game that'll take place in Miami, but time is running out, and fans, you can vote for Jose 5 times a day and up to 35 times up until Thursday. Thursday's the last day, Thursday night. So if you're going to do it now, and do it in a hurry. If you want to see little Jose out there in the All-Star game, go to Indians.com/vote. Cast your ballot today.
Edwin Encarnacion takes a strike over the outside edge. Down on the dirt. The ball and 2 strikes. Yanked that one, and it's 2-2. And Eddie working the count full. Found that all of his leg. Encarnacion, couple of hits, couple of runs scored last night. Leading off the home half of the 4th, 3-2 pitch and a ground ball foul. Texas employing a 3-man shift on the left side of the infield.
Maybe these 2 teams are slugged out from last night's game.
You kind of get that feeling, don't
Yeah.
you? They both seem a tad sluggish. 3-2. in the air to right. Chu makes the catch, and that snaps a string of 11 straight innings. The Indians had their leadoff man aboard. Well, latest All-Star voting has the Indians with a trio closing in. Ramirez, a little more than 200,000 behind Miguel Sano, Edwin Encarnacion, under 200,000 behind Cruz, Dickerson, Michael Brantley.
Yeah, and you can only vote tomorrow and Thursday. It'll end Thursday night.
Here's Jose Ramirez taking outside ball one. Andre.
You know, Tito Francona said something a couple of days ago that's so true. You don't want to beg for votes or anything else, but he said if Jose Ramirez is an all-star, he doesn't really know what an all-star is when you look at what he's done for this team.
Exactly. You know what, though? The way they vote, Andre, you know, the big markets seem to get most of the lion's share of the votes. And, you know.
And this is just the starters we're talking about.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
Exactly. Oh, he's going to make the all-star team, no doubt. But, I mean, he'll be with Tito down there. But he deserves to be the starting third baseman, I think.
I totally agree with you. I know Jose doesn't want to talk about it, but I know he wants it. And I know, and his teammates want it for him. If you're around his guys, and you guys know how this is, his teammates want him to be the guy that represents them, especially when Francisco Lindor asked me the last guy that started an all-star game for the Indians. I believe it was Juan Gonzalez.
We were trying to figure that out as far as actually voted onto the team as a starter.
And I'll look it up, but I saw that. Yes, I had that note yesterday. I believe it was Juan. I'll look, but I thought it was Juan Gonzalez, which says a lot.
Well, Jose deserves to be there. I mean, you look at his numbers, and look at. I'm not going to argue about Miguel Sano, who's having a fine year in Minnesota, but Jose, he's a better third baseman. He's a pretty valuable guy.
Well, taking nothing away from Miguel Sano, because he's kind of gone through the same thing Jose has gone through with finding a position. But Chris Antonetti made a great point. Jose didn't even play third base till he got to the major leagues.
I know.
And he's one of the best fielding third basemen in baseball as well.
Chops this one a first easy play for Gallo. 2 down here in the 4th.
Well, nobody's got a ball named after him like Jose does.
That's right. He's got that.
Yes, he's got that going for him. A look-alike.
Whoever's running his campaign needs to exploit that fact and really get that out there to the voting public.
We've got great stat guys, but I got one right. It was Juan Gonzalez, 2001, last starter from the Indians that made the
Good for you.
I only get a couple right, so I'll pat myself on the back, even though my arm isn't long enough.
Yeah, it is. Been doing it all year.
You keep your head outside. I keep seeing you looking out there. Stop
just
that.
stretching, getting loose.
The governor needs to be seen. I know.
The 1-0 to Chisenhall is inside off the dish. 2 balls, no strikes. Meanwhile, Mike Sarbaugh's looking over his shoulder going, what are you guys doing? Poor guy's got a job to do.
He's not paying attention to us.
Here's the 2-0. And Lonnie takes a strike.
Sarby's arm's got to be sore today after all the waving around he was doing last night. After he had the weekend off, he had to go get him rubbed down today. There you go again. Another swing like that. That ball. He even pulled this one farther over than he did the last time up.
That one was literally almost in the on-deck
between
circle.
his legs. You hit the ball. It went between his legs, didn't it?
Yes, it did.
That's unbelievable. I've heard of basketball players dribbling between their legs, but I've never known hitters to hit between their legs.
Now, would that be considered a crossover move?
Yes, it is. He's done it twice today, I think.
Well, this will be the 70th pitch of the game for Tyson Ross. He's only allowed 2 hits, both of them singles. The one to Lonnie plated the Indians' only run in the 2nd. And a full count. That's going to be foul. Must have went off his foot.
Yeah, he didn't run, and it had some spin to it.
3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the bottom of the 4th. Cleveland on top 1-0. And the payoff pitch. Again, he's just burying that ball in off the plate.
Well, basically the only thing you're going to do with it is pull it foul. If he goes in there, we'll see if he's going to try and goes down and away with something off speed. But he's pulling everything in.
Oh, Jerry Davis rings up Lonnie Chisenhall to end the inning. 1-0 Cleveland through 4. Howdy, everybody.
To you by Levin Furniture. For the best deals on furniture and mattresses, shop Levin's. And by your Northern Ohio Honda dealers. Made in Ohio, Ohio proud.
1-0 Cleveland as we go to the 5th down to Andre.
You know, we've talked about a lot about Mike Clevenger kind of growing up as a starting pitcher. And he said after his last start, the last few starts, he's calmed down. He's not throwing as hard, but he gets out there in the first 2 innings and he's too amped up. And he feels like he's not so much overthrowing the ball, but he doesn't get the ball where he wants to get it. It's almost like a guy that's on too much coffee or a guy that's got too much adrenaline. He's trying to find that perfect place where he can get that rhythm that he gets into later in the game. Tonight, it looks like he's gotten through that spot so far.
You know, that's a good point. You know, younger guys that go out there, they could be overamped. And you know what? His first game against Houston, when we saw him start that game here, that was in Houston, best game he ever pitched. And his velocity was about 92, maybe 93, but the command was down at the knees. He had control of the breaking ball and the changeup. But every day is different, or every start is different, but at least he knows what he's looking for. He has a game plan. The more strikes you throw, the better off you are sometimes, instead of, you know, getting hitters in good counts.
Swung on and missed. Mike Clevenger has struck out a half-dozen Rangers. And a nice breaking ball to take care of Napoli here in the 5th.
Let's look at some of the locations from Mike tonight and watch. It's down. There's a breaking ball down and away. There's a nice moving. I thought that was a changeup. There's a heater right there. 3-2 that locked up Napoli. You know, expands the zone with those sliders away. So he's locked in down in the zone. He's firing on all cylinders, giving up one hit. That was Beltre, a line drive leadoff single to right. He's had 14 swings and misses to this point.
Rougned Odor cuts and misses.
Not back out of play. You go back to last night, and that's now 23 strikeouts for Indians pitching against Texas. And we're halfway through the second game of this 4-game series. Now the 2-2. Reached for it. Santana will have to beat him to the bag. He does. 2 down. Swing into summer once again tomorrow night when the Indians take on the Rangers. Game 3 of the 4-game set. It'll be Trevor Bauer and Yu Darvish. Great matchup. Indians Live starts our coverage at 6:30. First pitch 7:10. Swing into summer on Sports Time Ohio and Fox Sports Go, presented by Click It or Ticket. Yu Darvish 6-5 on the year with a 3.12 ERA. Trevor Bauer 6-6 on the year with a 5.53 ERA. Meanwhile, Mike Clevinger has struck out 6. He has walked a pair, given up 1 hit. He got a double play to get out of the third. It was a strike him out, throw him up twin killer. He's fanned at least 1 in every inning so far.
Yeah, 47 of his 78 pitches have been strikes.
And you know, Rick, Clevenger's a guy that, look, in his career at the AAA level, he's 14-3 with a 2.91 ERA. I'm not saying he doesn't have anything left to learn, but he certainly doesn't have anything to prove at the minor league level.
No, you got to face the major league hitters and the best, and that's how you learn.
And that was a mistake that's not coming back. Robinson Chirinos, who has now hit 11 home runs on the year, ties the game at 1 with a solo shot to the bleachers with 2 outs here in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and he hit the hanging slider, and he has 10 home runs. Now it is 11, so ties it up with 2 outs, 1 swing of the bat. And you'll see Chirinos gets this ball in the middle of the plate. There it was, 81-mile-an-hour slider. He stayed back, kept the hands back nicely, and we have a tie ball game.
Almost had a little Adrian Beltre in that swing, and I think his back knee, if it didn't touch the ground, it nearly did. Joey Gallo walked in the 3rd. Yeah, again, though, the point being with Mike Clevinger, it's not like, well, he needs some more seasoning. He's got it. This is his opportunity. I mean, he's done everything he can do at that AAA level.
The door is open, and let's go. He had an opportunity last year, and you know, every time they get here, they feel a little more confident. Well, his time is now, because the door is open with Salazar gone. Someone has to step up.
And that's the situation every year in pro sports, regardless of what sport you're talking about. There will be an opportunity, whether it's due to injury or subpar performance. There's always an opportunity. The question is, are you ready to step in and take that spot?
Yes, he did.
Gallo goes around, and that's 7 strikeouts for Mike Clevinger. Robinson Chirinos, though, on 1 swing of the bat, has tied this game for Texas.
Parrot, pretty nice indeed. Game tied at 1 as we head to the bottom of the 5th. Al Pulaski here for an update. Detroit was down 3-0 in Motown to KC. Now they're ahead 4-3 thanks to Miguel Cabrera. That is 9th homer of the year. It's a 3-run shot. 4-3, bottom of the 4th in Motown. Here in Cleveland, we send it back over to Matt and Rick for the Tribe and Rangers. Guys.
Thanks, Al. Carlos Santana going to lead off for Cleveland here in the bottom of the 5th. 1-1 ball game. Santana grounded into a double play his only time up. Tyson Ross with a breaking ball in there for strike 1.
And Ross has only given up 2 hits and the 1 run, and has left 2 runners stranded. He's walked 2, struck out 1. He's coming off a tough start against Toronto where he went 3 innings, gave up 7 hits and 7 runs. But he's settled in there today.
Tyson Ross 6'6". So you always talk about pitchers wanting to create that downward angle, that downhill leverage. Spent his first 5 years professionally with Oakland before he was dealt to San Diego. Santana went around.
He sure did.
And that is the 2nd strikeout for Ross. He struck out Lonnie Chisholm to end the 4th, and now Santana to start the 5th.
Yeah, it looked like a breaking ball slider down and in, and there's a different view, but you can see where that barrel held went out, and he tries to really whip it back, and he went. So back-to-back strikeouts for Ross. His only 2 tonight.
Bradley Zimmer flied to the middle of the warning track, just to the left of straightaway center, his first time up. And Ross goes down and in for strike 1. Sure seems to be unseasonably mild at 69 degrees.
I love it.
Here on June 27th. But no breeze tonight.
Right.
Popped him up left field. Mazzara. 2 down. In-game recap won't take long. It's brought to you by your local Toyota dealers. Lonnie Chisholm singled to center in the 2nd. It plated Jose Ramirez, who had walked and stolen second base. Stayed that way until the 5th, when Robinson Chirinos, with 2 outs, hit a solo homer to the bleachers. And that's where we stand now with 2 down in the bottom of the 5th inning. Yan Gomes walked his only time up. Yanks it foul. Way outside. And Tyson Ross, he doesn't appear to be doing anything special or wow-worthy tonight.
What he's doing, he's going north and south. You know what I'm saying? He's not going east and west as much as he is north and south. The fastball's up about the belt or a little bit higher, and he's getting the pop-ups. He's trying to go the sliders down there and getting the swings and misses.
Well, he strikes out a pair in the inning, and he is now set down 9 in a row.
game balloting.
Zach Cozart came back up for the shortstop.
It's going to cost Joey Votto a donkey.
Yes, it will. That's right.
Promised Cozart he'd buy him a donkey if he made the All-Star team.
The 3 Nationals on the right side. Blackman, that's going to be a close race at third base for the National League, does it, with Arenado?
Very close. Well, Mike Clevenger has pitched 5 innings and has given up 1 run. He's made 85 pitches. Tyson Ross of the Rangers has pitched 5 innings. He's given up 1 run and has made 85 pitches.
No kidding. Line score is the same. Pitchers' numbers are the same.
Delano DeShields leads off the 6th. 0 for 2 on the night.
See Ramirez in front of the bag at third base. This guy will bunt. He's not afraid to start something or get it going.
Big curveball missed outside. Back out of play. Just missed and a full count. Kind of backed up on him. You see Gomes wants it away and almost got it called for a strike anyway.
Backed up on him.
Shoots it foul right side. Look out. Now Delano DeShields did not bat last night, came in late as a defensive replacement, but in the leadoff spot tonight, trying to get something started for Texas here in the 6th. Clevenger trying to keep him off the bases, and he rung him up with a low fastball. His 8th strikeout of the night.
That's a good pitch.
And both pitchers, as you said, have done a good job of changing the eye level of the hitter.
Yes, they have. I'll tell you what, that's right there. That's like the one he threw to Napoli down at the knees. And you know, it's so much harder to pick that pitch up when it's down there. And he's been down all night long, except he did hang a breaking ball to Chirinos and it cost him a run. But he's throwing the ball well tonight. Really, this is great when you see him down there because it's tough. And if you do, they're going to beat it in the ground.
Shin-Soo Choo looks at that big curveball for a strike.
The club looks like he's got very good rhythm tonight. He's working quicker.
Well, remember his last start, Rick, you could tell, even though he somehow survived that game in Baltimore, he was all over the place early, fighting himself. It didn't look like he was going to make it out of the first, second couple innings, but maybe something happened for him in that game because he did survive.
Absolutely. That's how you learn. Like tonight, 2 strikes to 13 of the 19 batters faced. They're 0 for 13. You know, when he gets to 2 strikes, they haven't been able to do any damage. And it's down, 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 not all over the place.
But you have to prove to yourself, at least at this level, that you can manage your way through a game when you don't have your stuff.
That's what makes big league pitchers, you know, in the rotation. That's why you stay in the rotation. They can work their way through it when they don't have their good stuff. You navigate your way through lineups.
2-2. Swung out and missed. He has struck out 9
career
Ranger hitters.
A career high for Clevenger. Very good. Let's check it out. That was not a good swing by Choo. Change up. The circle change. You see it moving away, and that ball's by him. It's almost like he didn't want to swing. You know, he got out there, and there they go. The K Club out there on top of the Indians bullpen.
A gaggle of Ks.
Yeah, and there was a lot of gaggles last night.
Here's Elvis Andrus twice. He's flied to center, and he takes. That's been a really effective pitch for Mike tonight. To get me over strike one curveball.
Yeah. Because they look fastball most of the time. They don't have a book on Cleve yet. You know, that's what I'm saying. When you throw it early in the count, throw it for strikes. You don't have to throw your wipeout curveball or breaking ball. Now, get me over curveball works very well.
100th pitch of the night is a fastball just off the plate, 2-1.
And the thing that he's done tonight too with the right-handers, after you see that fastball he just threw, is the changeup. He'll go to the right-handers out there as well.
Swung out and missed. That breaking ball got probably more of the plate than he would have liked.
But he was out front. It's all right. He had Andrus out front.
This crowd appreciative of the effort tonight from the right-hander.
Nice.
Had him in between. A little check swing roller, and the side is retired. Mike Clevenger, a career night with 9 strikeouts. 1-1 game, middle of the 6th. Vote totals there at third base. Nolan Arenado is 58,000 votes behind Chris Bryant.
Well,
it is too close to call.
Both very good players, and you look at the years. Arenado, of course, better, more RBIs and a bigger average, but I think a little better third baseman. But Chicago, they love him. He's a good player.
Jason Kipnis will lead off the bottom of the 6th with the Indians and Rangers deadlocked at 1. Jason led off the game with a single, but never moved from first. Jose Ramirez led off the 2nd with a walk, stole second, scored on a base hit by Lonnie Chisenhall. As Kipnis pops one to shallow center. Indians got their leadoff man aboard again in the 3rd with a walk. That was Yan Gomes, and that made it 11 straight innings. Their leadoff man was aboard, but unable to do anything with that. And then since then, 10 in a row retired by Tyson Ross. Now, since 1974, the Indians are among a very select group of teams who've done that with 11 straight innings getting their leadoff man aboard. About the Montreal Expos of 1991.
Yeah.
Cincinnati, you know, they wanted the Nasty Boys in '90.
I'd like to see them find a way if Frankie could get on. Even if he gets on first base, you can run off Tyson. They have one stolen base. That was Ramirez. He's about 1-4 to the plate.
Rip foul.
Send out some birthday wishes tonight. Libby Jewell of Kent is turning 100 today. Libby, a very special happy birthday to you. Ladora Studor is turning 90. Ladora, happy birthday to you as well.
2-1 pitch and a foul right back. Let's go down to Andre.
Well, you came up with that great stat that the Indians had all those guys get on base so many times in a row. And you brought up the Montreal Expos in 1991. Do you know who was batting second for that team? A guy named Delino DeShields. And Marquise Grissom, I believe, was batting leadoff for that team. Small world, right?
Yeah, there's a swing and a miss, and Lindor down on strikes.
How'd you know that so quickly?
4th strikeout for Ross.
Hey, don't worry about how I
you
find
got
my
computers, or you got someone telling you. You
that
weren't
was
even
brain
born
cells.
then, were you?
I was born by then. I'm not nearly as old as you, but I knew that one. You just take care of yourself up there, Governor.
Okay,
We're gonna get pictures of you.
Delino.
I know the speed, guys.
Delino did not.
Well, Michael Brantley will bat with 2 down and the base is empty. He's 0 for 2 in his return to the lineup. Breaking ball missed outside. Down low. Michael Brantley flied to right in the first. He grounded out in the 3rd inning. And he swings and misses here. It's 2-2. Wasn't Delino DeShields the guy that went double flaps?
Yeah. He may have, yes, back then. He didn't have to, that's for sure. Ask Andre, he'll know.
You know who else was on that team? Your boy Ron Hassey.
Oh, that's when he was there with Dennis Martinez. Caught the perfect game against the Dodgers.
I forgot. How did we get here? Why did he bring that up? I lost track.
Well, that was because of the consecutive.
Yeah. The leadoff men. Well,
right.
that seems like a distant memory now because Tyson Ross has retired 12 straight Indians batters. The injury lawyers at Elk & Elk, proud partners of the Cleveland Indians. Call 1-800-ELK-OHIO. By the stylish 2017 Kia Optima. And by Smart Path Forward. Lakeland Community College is your Smart Path Forward. Start now. The Cleveland Clinic call to the bullpen has been made. And Brian Shaw is now into the game for the Indians. Shaw in relief of Mike Clevenger, making his 38th appearance this year. He's worked 37 innings, 16 walks, 33 strikeouts, and he's got the 4, 5, and 6 hitters due up for Texas. Mike Clevenger went 6 innings, a career high 9 strikeouts, walked 2, gave up just 2 hits, and allowed 1 run on a solo homer with 2 outs in the 5th inning to Robinson Chirinos, and that's it. But the Indians only have 1 run on their side of the ledger, so it's a dead heat heading into the 7th inning. Mike Clevenger with a career high 9 strikeouts, and in addition to that, Texas hitters were 0 for 15 tonight once he got to 2 strikes. So it wasn't just the strikeouts, it was his ability to put them away.
Yes.
High pop up on the infield, playable. I think Santana's got a beat on it. He does, and that's out number 1. Miller time, brought to you by Miller Lite. Take a look at the punch outs.
Here you see a nice breaking ball from Cleve. He's dotted the fastball down in the zone as well a few of those times out of the 9 strikeouts. A changeup and a strike him out, throw him out. With the slider, very effective. The changeup right there on the check swing. And the fastball down. He had a nice combination working tonight, throwing it in and out and down in the zone. Excellent start. See if they can get him a run here. Well, no, that's right. Cleve's gone, so you were hoping they would last inning. I was.
Nomar Mazara takes a pitch from Brian Shaw down low. I'm sure there are more than a few pitchers who would attest that there is no justice in this game. You know, you have a game like Carrasco pitched last night. He gets taken off the hook because the offense erupts and scores 15 runs. And then you get guys that go out and pitch great and they don't score.
It's an amazing thing about the game of baseball.
Yeah,
you know, it's not how you pitch, it's when. But I'll tell you what, you have to be pleased. Mike's got to be pleased with his outing tonight. He went out there, kept his team in it, matched Tyson Ross pitch for pitch, and 1 little breaking ball was hit out of the ballpark. Sometimes you pop it up, but Texas is a team. That's how they score. They score on the home run ball. And 48% of their runs this year have scored by the long ball. They have 385. 185 runs have been scored with the long ball, and they've been on a tear. They have 10 homers in the last 4 games. 18 of the last 25 runs scored coming on the long ball.
Yeah.
So you keep them in the yard, you have a chance, but Clevenger was great.
And I think that's I guess it's partly the frustrating aspect of when you've got guys who can hit the ball out of the yard. When they're doing it, it's great. Gets everybody out of their seat. It injects a lot of enthusiasm, a lot of energy.
But it comes and it goes.
Yeah.
It's like hitting with runners in scoring position. It comes and it goes, but you got to find ways when you're not doing it to manufacture runs.
Yeah, there's nothing to sustain it.
Right. You're not going to stay a month where you're just going to be hitting long balls all the time. I mean, you're right. It gets you back in games when you're down, or it can separate you when you're close, you know, when you get a 3-run homer like they did last night. But you have to find ways to manufacture runs as well.
The 1-2 is a little high. And I wonder too, if we polled all of the people that watch every day, if we're seeing, Rick, maybe an unprecedented number of players trying to hit home runs who aren't really home run hitters per se.
Yeah.
Got him looking. Ah, that's a beautiful off-speed pitch by Brian Shaw over the backside of the plate. And that's strikeout number 10 for Cleveland pitchers.
You know, a rare slider for Shaw, but he comes up, and that one, I'll take it all day long if you're a pitcher. If you're a hitter, you don't like it called, but he might have caught a break right there. But he gets the second out. And I think guys that aren't home run hitters are trying too much to hit homers now.
And that's probably leading to some of the lower batting averages.
Absolutely.
And some of the struggles to manufacture runs.
Well, you know, manufacturing runs, it used to be able to be a hit and run hitter, where you can put the ball in play, where your manager sometimes doesn't have to put a bunt on. He's saying, let's try and hit and run. Let's try it first and third. Well, now so many guys swing through the ball, it's tough to start a guy on a hit and run, because you swing through it, you get a guy thrown out. You don't want to make outs on the bases.
The 0-1 pitch.
But this is the part of the ball game where the Indians have had success against Texas this year, is when they go to their bullpen in the 4 games that the Indians have won this year off the Rangers.
And a strike is called, and Napoli not happy. He's in the hole, 1-2. Now this one had a lot of movement to it. Where Gomes catches it, it definitely looks low. But where it crossed through the strike zone, it might have been there. Swung on and missed. Brian Shaw strikes out a pair here in the 7th. 1-1 ball game. Stretch time in Cleveland.
Francisco Lindor bobblehead. That'll be courtesy of Sherwin-Williams. That'll take place. We will return home on July 4th. The Indians will take on the San Diego Padres. And after the ball game, there will be an American Rocks themed fireworks presented by Blaster. Get your tickets. Go to Indians.com.
New pitcher for Texas is right-hander Jose Leclerc. And Leclerc making his 21st appearance this year. He's held opponents to a batting average of just $160.
This is where the Indians have made their hay on Texas. is when they've been able to get into that bullpen. Out of the 4 games played, all Indians wins. Texas's bullpen 0-3, the same in save situations, and have an ERA of 13, above 13. Indians have hit 386 off it. Compared to the Indians bullpen, 3-0, 3 saves, and Texas hitters hitting 182 off the Indians bullpen. So this is the part of the game where, if all holds true, the Indians should be able to step up here.
You know, it's weird because you look at, okay, I know that Sam Dyson didn't work out, their closer to start the year, so they've made some changes in that bullpen. But you look at the guys who are here now, and most of the numbers, there's a couple of guys that have some ugly ERAs, but most of, I mean, out of the, what do they got, 8, 9 guys?
Yeah,
6 of them look fine.
Yeah.
But it's almost like, Rick, since day one, that mindset has been there.
Bingo.
It's a negative thing about, oh no, here we go again.
Well, you're right. Once you give it up, and you know, whether it's a close game or you know, a guy gets on and you're thinking, okay, what's going to happen next? You're right. It's a negative vibe and a feeling. When you get on a roll and you take the lead and you turn it over to your bullpen and you've got that feeling, oh, all right, we're going to slam the door. It's a very good feeling as a team because the Indians have that. And you have Miller and Allen.
Encarnacion awaiting the 3-1 pitch from Jose Leclerc. Oh, he had his pitch and popped it up foul on a play. And this is kind of what I'm talking about too. Before last night, the Texas bullpen had given up 4 runs in the previous 6 games. So you get on a nice little roll, but then you have a night like last night, and what you did in the previous 6 games is wiped away. Nobody even remembers that.
Can't keep that momentum going.
Yeah.
But last night was that was just a strange night.
Now the 3-2, and he got him to chase. Down to Andre.
I mean, talking to Jose Ramirez is just about different situations and hitting and just his mindset. And he told me something that jumped out to me. He says no matter if it's the 8th inning or the 1st inning, the one thing he's learned over the last 2 years being in the big leagues is just focus on getting a good pitch. He says when he focuses on just getting a good pitch, whether the bases are loaded or if there's nobody on, it works for him every single time. He erases all the thoughts, just focuses on finding his pitch and not worrying about anything else that's going on in the game.
They call that tunnel vision, and he's been able to keep it.
I think that often works. Just get it down to its lowest common denominator.
Well, and what
simplify.
he doesn't give at-bats away because he doesn't try to do too much a lot of times. You know, the thought process is I'm not going to try and hit a home run, or I'm not going to try and he just tries to hit the ball hard, and that comes down to let me get a good pitch to handle.
I always like George Brett's thought that total concentration is thinking of nothing.
There you go.
Fouled right back. And I can imagine as a big league hitter now, with all the information that's available, you could go up there and your wheels would be spinning thinking about 15 different things and you'd have no chance.
Yeah, but you know, that comes in prep work. It should anyway. And if you're going to work on something, you work on it in batting practice or before the game. And when the game starts and you're an everyday player, you go out there and you think of nothing. And you just react to everything that goes on. And that's
you've already done your preparation.
Right.
Yeah. I often, one of the greatest quotes I ever heard about pressure was, you only feel pressure when you don't know what you're doing. And if you've put the preparation in, if you've done your scouting, your studying, and you've worked all your side work, then it's just playing the game.
Yeah,
you don't feel pressure then. You just, you're just read and react.
You know what you're looking for, you know what you're getting, and you get after it.
It's when you go up there and go, what's this guy throw? That's when you might be in trouble. Monty Chisenhall, RBI single in the 2nd, called out on strikes in the 4th, fouls it back. You know, sometimes you wonder about that too with professional athletes. You know, what if you had a bad day at home? What if a myriad of things could have happened? And how do you separate that? How do you leave that at the door when you walk into the clubhouse? Or is baseball sort of your sanctuary for the day where you can leave everything behind just for the 3 hours
sure
you're out there?
Yeah, it is. I think the players find that when you walk through those doors, let's go, man. It's baseball. You can get away and your mind can escape for, you know, until that ball game's over. And then when you leave that clubhouse, don't leave the clubhouse until you're ready to go home and like nothing's happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You go home and you don't take an 0 for 4 with you and 3 punch outs. Or if you get the game-winning hit, you don't take that home. You go home and enjoy get ready for tomorrow.
Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. You know, I think back to a year ago, Josh Tomlin. You know, and everything that his dad was going through, he wanted to be there with his dad, but he knew in his heart he needed to be here with his team, and he knew that's what his dad really wanted.
Yeah.
And so I think for Josh, it was somewhat therapeutic to just go out there when he had his turn to pitch, and at least for those 3 hours, he could just focus on just that and not have to think about anything else. 2-2 pitch.
Yes, he
got
did
him to chase. Lonnie takes off for first. Chirinos' throw is in time, and the inning is over. The Indians go in order. We go to the 8th, tied at 1. Authority of the Cleveland Indians and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Cleveland Indians.
Gorgeous shot right there in the moon, and you can see not a whole lot of offense tonight. Totally different than what it was last night. We are heading into the 8th inning. The Indians are going to go back to their bullpen. They're going to bring in Andrew Miller. He did not pitch last night, so he's coming on to face Odor, Chirinos, and Gallo. 34th appearance on the year and a 163 earned run average. Both teams now, it hasn't changed. 1 run, 2 hits, and 2 left on. No errors in the ball game. So Odor, the leadoff hitter, and they will have the shift. Slings a fastball in there for strike 1. Or was that a slider? Slider, strike 1. Odor 0 for 2. Swings at the fastball, and he is now down in the count 0-2. One thing I recognized with Odor. We started the year in Texas, and he was locked in. He hit 2 home runs on opening day. But boy, he seems to be swinging at everything and not as patient as he once was. The 0-2 pitch. There you go. It only takes 3, and that's a sweeping slider by Miller. So they get the leadoff man. Let's look at the pitches. You're going to see slider, fastball, slider, and put him away with 3. He put a little more tilt to that last one as it goes down. It was still an outstanding pitch. So out number 1 here in the 8th. And Robinson Chirinos is the reason why this game is tied. He hit a solo homer with 2 outs in the 5th inning off Mike Clevenger. The breaking ball that tied this game up.
You know, Arch, sometimes as you watch Andrew Miller and you watch him with that slider, and we know that he uses it more than 50%. As a hitter, do you go up there and almost, and I thought about this when they played the Dodgers, when you're left-handed as a hitter, do you almost sit up there and wait for one? You know what I mean? The easy one almost?
Well,
there is such a thing?
I know, if you can pick it up, and you know, it's hard to. If I was sitting up there and I'm a left-handed hitter, I would hope I could look for the fastball early, because if he throws a good slider, it's going to be tough to get.
I agree with you, but he doesn't throw a lot of fastballs.
I know.
You know what I mean?
I know it. And the minute you look on the slider is when he throws the fastball. But it can be tough.
Watching him has been like no other over the list.
Well,
now it's been almost a year, and he's still almost unhittable.
I know it. And not only for lefties, Andre, for righties as well, because that slider, he can bury it inside to you. And when you're looking down and in, he can throw it to the backdoor side of the plate, the outside part. And he's tough on every hitter. He doesn't give up many hits. But the 3-1 count now to Chirinos, and missed ball 4. That's something he did not want to do. But Texas with a man aboard.
You know, Joey Gallo, the number 9 hitter, has tremendous power, but you feel like the left on left negates that to a degree.
Well, I guess it doesn't matter. You have to make your pitches to everybody, because if you leave one up, these are major league hitters. They can hit you and hit you out of the ballpark. But let's put it this way. It's got to be a comfortable, uncomfortable at bat. Looks like a fastball here. No, another breaking ball.
And what I always have found interesting watching Miller since he's come to Cleveland is how he varies the same pitch. You know, it may look that slider may look one way, and then the next time he throws it, it looks like a different pitch.
Exactly like he did to Odor. And the first pitch slider, fastball slider.
That one he looped it a little bit more, but no chase from Gallo.
Well, and that's the thing. He'll throw it any pitch at any time. You know, he's not afraid. It doesn't matter what count he's in. He watches. He's a very smart pitcher. He watches the hitters and the approach.
And he struck him out. And he went right back to that slower version. It's more of a slurvy, had a little more break to it. Sometimes he'll throw it where it's tighter. This one, it breaks all the way across the plate.
Yeah, it's not going to end up a strike, but you know, you see it out here and you're thinking if you stay back you can get it, but it's really not a strike, so you have to stay back and not, I mean, you have to have a really, really short swing.
2 down. Delano to Shields, 0 for 3 the batter.
Well, this is a team, this is a Texas team, that if you can get to 2 strikes with them, you can expand their zone. They're 0 for 19 tonight when the Indians pitchers have gotten to 2 strikes with them. I think that's one reason why they search the ball early. And they have so many hits and extra base hits on the first pitch. Because they don't like to get to 2 strikes.
It makes sense to me, though. If you're kind of a free swinger, you want to get out and get big and make things happen. all of a sudden you get to 2 strikes. How do you just change that?
Well, you don't.
You can't.
No, and we've seen some swings that in between swings. Let's put it that way.
Another 1-1. Whoa. And a ball and 2 strikes on to Shields. Andrew Miller, who began his career, was a starting pitcher. And when he moved to the bullpen, he said, I had to focus and concentrate on how to throw more strikes consistently. Man, he has become a strike throwing machine. As that fouled out of play.
Yeah, the crowd hasn't had a whole lot to cheer about, unlike yesterday, the ones that stayed here.
Yeah.
They had a boatload to cheer about. Today they're sitting down saying, okay, let's go, let's get this out. We need to run it. We're in the 8th inning.
Got him. DeShields frozen like a statue. Miller with 3 strikeouts in the 8th. And we are still deadlocked at 1.
$15 for kids 12 and under with the purchase of an adult ticket. The seats are located in the family deck near the kids clubhouse and are only available at Indians.com.
Jose Leclerc worked a 1-2-3 7th. He'll stay on to pitch the 8th. Bottom third of the order due up for Cleveland. It'll be Carlos Santana, Bradley Zimmer, and Yan Gomes. And it's outside. And a breaking ball drops in for a strike to even the count. And Carlos takes 2 balls and a strike.
Patient now. Last couple of pitches, the breaking ball, 1 for a strike, and that one he laid off.
Oh, hit him on the foot.
It sure did. Ouch.
Hit him right on, looked like either the side of the foot or the ankle.
Flat tire right there. You could hear that thud all the way up here, and he has padding on that foot in case he hits it off of there, but I think that got the shoe. That hurt. Check it out. You see, he's taking that padding off. Let's see where it gets him. He puts it down. You can't move. He's trying to get it out of the way, and it got him right on the baby toe, right on the side, with no padding, of course. There's the toe tap. He goes out. The foot is down, and he couldn't move it. So he's going to walk it off and take first base, and then.
Did you call that the baby toe?
Yeah.
Not pinky toe. You go baby toe. It's a Niagara Falls thing.
Yeah, it is. Not the pinky toe. Very good.
I don't know. I'm just wondering. Jeff Bannister is going to go to the bullpen. Jose Leclerc retired the first 3 in the 7th, but he hit Santana to start the 8th. And the Ranger bullpen is back at it. Man aboard for the Tribe. Keone Kela coming on, making his 30th appearance of the year. And Bradley Zimmer will be the batter for the Tribe.
Well, you can see the opponent's hitting just 137 off of him, so. And he can get it up there.
High fastball misses. And the curveball finds the outside part of the plate.
Well, there you see it, 77 miles per hour. A nice little off-speed pitch there.
Trying to get him to chase a low fastball, he wouldn't do it.
You look at that, you talk about no doubles defense. That outfield for Texas is very, very deep. I don't think you can get any deeper than they are. I don't even know if you can see them on your TV. But they are back there protected for the double to cut it off with Santana on first.
There's a breaking ball, and it evens the count.
Well, let's take a look. There you'll see the breaking ball. Fingers on the side. You can see he changes speeds, and that's the pitch where they do it up here in the big leagues, and they can throw it for strikes.
Big curveball, and it just missed off the plate. Full count.
Zimmer's eye has really surprised me, you know, since watching him play in the big leagues. He lays off a lot of good, tough pitches when he gets the 2 strikes, even though he doesn't know a lot of people. But his eye has been very good. He works the count.
Taps this one foul. You're right. You know, you think about when Mike Napoli spent last year with the Indians. He's, I don't know, the last few years, nobody sees more pitches per plate appearance than Napoli. It's over 4 every time he goes to the plate.
4.8 or whatever it was. Yeah.
But now that you mention it, it seems like, and I don't have the data in front of me, every time Zimmer's upper, he's working deep. Even if he falls behind, he gets himself back into counts.
And that's what surprises me. With a lot of young hitters, they like to get aggressive early.
Swing early.
And they do when they see that first fastball. But he doesn't. He works the count very well.
Twice tonight flat out. 1-1 game, bottom of the 8th, payoff pitch. Again, it's pulled from.
Good job fouling off a couple of tough pitches. Those aren't easy pitches to foul off. 94, 95 mile an hour fastballs down and in.
Arch, I know he throws hard, but look where Chu's at. Have you ever seen a right? I know he's deep. Have you ever seen a right fielder to the left of the 375 mark? If he hit it down the line, he could run for days. He might run Santana down.
Yeah, but they just feel Zimmer's not going to be able to pull this guy. I agree with you. They're giving him the line. That's a double. That's where they're giving him. They're bunching the alley.
Again, the 3-2.
Oh, slowed that one down for him. 3 straight fouls for Bradley, and this is one. This is a mistake that could burn that defense there when he slows it down. Ooh. And if he got that bat head out, that's where he could have pulled it on.
Facial reaction, like
he knew he had one to hit. That's the thing when you go with those breaking balls, man. And you hang one, that could hurt you. It did not though. Re-rack it.
Runner goes. Swing and a miss, and the throw down, not in time. Santana ends up with a steal, but Zimmer strikes out for the first out of the inning.
I love it. Good battle right there, and they started Santana. Sore foot and all. And you're going to see he comes back with a good low heater. He gets off, but Santana had a really good jump, and he had a lot of time over at first base to read it.
Did you see Kella? He slid down on the mound, and they got the training staff out to take a look at him. I couldn't tell initially if he did that intentionally or if he just slipped, but he went into a slide on the backside of the mound, presumably to get out of the way of the throw.
That's what I was thinking. He was vacating so the catcher had a clear alley. He did, but what happened? He slipped. I think that left leg or that foot slid out. Watch, see it? He thought that spike was going to catch it. It was on the heel, and his front foot just slid out of the way.
Well, they checked him out. He says he's all right.
Well, that go-ahead run is in scoring position
for Yan Gomes. Gomes walked in the 3rd, struck out in the 5th. And a breaking ball misses. Keone Kela grew up in California and then moved to Seattle for his senior year of high school, and the Mariners jumped on him. They made him a 29th round pick though, and he said no thanks. Went to college, and the Rangers picked him a couple years later in the 12th round. Slow chopper to 3rd, do or die play. Beltre comes up with it. Man, is he still a slick fielding third baseman.
Yeah, how's that for soft hands? He started to charge that ball, and he went in there, and I'll tell you what, you just watch his hands. Watch him where the glove stays down and it comes up. He knew he had to charge it. That in-between hop there, that was a very nice play.
Well, here you go. Now you get your veteran second baseman. 1 for 3 on the night with a chance to break the deadlock here with 2 down.
Started them off breaking ball. Get ahead of them. Strike 1.
Carlos Santana representing the go-ahead run in scoring position. And a fastball line to center, caught by DeShields, and we'll go to the 9th. Still tied at 1.
Back to center field along with Jensen Lewis, Al Pulowski. Boy, Jensen, some great pitching tonight, especially the starters. Both Clevenger and Ross go 6 innings, 2 hits, 1 run. But Clevenger, 9 strikeouts tonight.
Yeah, a career high for him, but we talked about it in the pregame show. You feel good if it comes to a battle of the bullpens. Cleveland with the very best in all of baseball, and Texas still reeling after last night.
All right, we'll see how it all goes down. Don't forget to join us after the game. Indians Live, brought to you by Conrad's Tire Express and Total Car Care. For the call of the 9th inning, let's head upstairs. Here are Matt and Rick. Fellas.
Thank you, Alan Jensen. Cody Allen will pitch the 9th. 1-1 game. It'll be his 30th appearance of the year. Cody's got Chu, Andrus, and Beltre due up for Texas. By the way, Tom Bochenek pointing out that in 17 innings so far in this series, Indians pitchers have recorded 51 outs, 31 via the strikeout.
Oh, wow.
Shin-Soo Choo taking a strike. He's punched out twice tonight.
Allen came on yesterday in the 8th inning and had 3 punch-outs in the ball game.
He looked really sharp yesterday.
Established that fastball early, Matt, to get a little control with it, and then when he did throw that breaking ball, it was a sharp breaker.
He's quickly ahead of Chu, 0-2.
What a difference a day makes. 28 hits in last night's ball game between the 2 teams. Today we're looking at 4.
Yeah, it's dead even across the line score.
Yes, it is.
Each team 1 run, 2 hits, no errors, 3 left on base. Missed with that breaking ball. And now a full count. Oh yeah, painted the fastball, nicked the inside corner. You can't believe it. Another strikeout for Indians pitching.
Well, he was looking for some away, and watch him come inside with this fastball right there. Pretty good pitch right on the inside edge. And you know, sometimes you're looking for that pitch away and you just don't react in, and he couldn't. And Cody Allen gets the strikeout.
So a night after striking out 17, the Indians have struck out 15 Texas batters tonight. Elvis Andrus 0 for 3 in the ballgame. Curveball and another dandy. And just like that, it's 0-2. Did he go? No, says.
I'll tell you what, it was close. It was close. Gomes thought they had it. There's a side view. Oh yeah.
Normally that gets.
Yeah, that's he went
punched.
From that view right there, no question. But he caught a break, so he's going to get an extra strike here.
High fastball hit to center. Zimmer is back. He has room. Makes the catch in the middle of the track for out number 2. That ball carried pretty well, but it looked like Zimmer had a beat on it the whole way.
Yeah, just stay in the ballpark. He got an extra strike, and I'll tell you what, he took advantage of it.
Here comes trouble. Adrian Beltre. Indians have held him in check so far tonight. 1 for 3. Opposite field single back in the second. The only other hit tonight for Texas is a solo homer by Robinson Chirinos in the 5th. And now Beltre has just put Texas in the lead.
Another first pitch homer. That's the guy you really have to be careful with in this lineup. And boy, after getting the first 2 out, you could navigate your way around him. But boy, he jumped on the first heater. And that's how they score. Another solo home run.
3 hits on the night. 2 of them have left the yard.
Watch, they want it there. It's upstairs, and he doesn't miss it. Boy, he jumped on it. That's the most dangerous hitter, in my opinion, even though he's only playing in game number 24. That's the veteran. That's the guy that they count on.
And boy, did he get the barrel to it quickly. Nomar Mazaro for 2 with a walk.
Yep, they're for the Rangers this year. We told you about the long ball and how they searched that first pitch fastball. 35th home run that they've hit on a first pitch this year, which leads Major League Baseball.
Mazara, swing and a miss, and it's 1-1. 1-1. There's another good curveball. Gets ahead of him. Matt Bush, who's taken over the closer duties for Texas, up and ready in the Ranger bullpen. Two down on the 1-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. He got him with a curveball to end the inning. We'll go to the bottom of the ninth. It's Lindor, Brantley, and Encarnacion due up for the Tribe. Down a run. Brought to you by Mazda. Indians wanted to get on the Rangers early. Well, they did get the lead early, but that's the only run they've been able to manage tonight. They've kept Elvis Andrus in the building, but Robinson Chirinos and Adrian Beltre both with solo homers, accounting for the only Rangers runs tonight. And now it comes down to the bottom of the ninth. It's Lindor, Brantley, and Encarnacion against Matt Bush, who took over the closer's role, and they jettisoned Sam Dyson. Bush has 9 saves, but far from perfect. And he certainly had his share of rocky moments already this year.
Yeah, and the Rangers with just 12 saves on the year. The only other team with fewer are the Chicago White Sox. I believe they have 11. Yes, they do. So the Indians are going to have to see if they can get that leadoff man aboard. You're going through the middle part of the lineup. But they only have 2 hits. The last hit came in the 2nd inning. After Ramirez walked, he stole second. Chisenhall had a base hit, gave them the 1-0 lead. They have not had a hit yet since that point.
Matt Bush coming off a big save on Sunday in New York for Texas. Misses for ball 1. Between May 31st and the start of Sunday, Matt Bush had an ERA of 9. 3 blown saves, 3 losses, and he'd given up 4 home runs in 8 innings of work. Fouled back by Lindor. And so as he went into that save in Yankee Stadium on Sunday, he told reporters after the ball game, and I thought this is pretty insightful, letting people into the mind of a closer and a professional athlete. He said, you think about a lot of things. Will I lose this role? Will I be able to support my fiance? Will I lose my career? A lot of things, but it's my job to be mentally tough, to let those things go, talk to the veterans, learn from them. I've got great support here. I just have to continue to grind. There's a fly ball deep center, but caught shy of the track by DeShields. And Lindor is out, number 1. Boy, when you've got a closer who has had the kind of rough go that it's been for Bush, you get that leadoff man aboard and you start the wheels turning.
Well, yeah, anytime you put pressure on that, the thought could creep in, especially the way it happened last night. But still, the 3 toughest outs to get are in this inning.
And it's just a one-run game. One swing of the bat could turn it all around in a hurry. Michael Brantley 0 for 3 in his return to the lineup. And Bush, who has a blazing fastball, misses outside 1-0. You know, facing a guy like Bush, we've seen this in the past. As a hitter, he supplies the power. It's just a matter of trying to be short to it. Not trying to do too much, I would imagine, would be the game plan here.
Well, and again, their defense is very deep, you know, and chances are you get a single in front of them. Almost like DeShields had to come in on that ball that Lindor hit, and he hit it very well.
Line drive, base hit. And there is the tying run aboard in the bottom of the ninth. Well, back on opening day in Arlington, Matt Bush pitching, Edwin Encarnacion hitting his first home run as an Indian.
Well, and remember what that pitch was, the breaking ball. And don't think that Bush doesn't remember that. He certainly does, so we'll see how he attacks him this time. Tying run on base.
Eddie 0 for 3 on the night. Brantley, who has stolen 7 out of 8 on the year, takes the lead, and he is chased back quickly. We'll see if Brantley feels like he can get the kind of jump, but I wouldn't think he'd try and steal with Encarnacion at the plate.
Well, how well is that ankle feeling?
And that's the other thing.
Yeah, we'll see. I want to check his move. No, he's too quick to home plate. And I would expect you'll see quite a few fastballs here. He gets it up 96, 97. And remember, we just showed you that he hit the breaking ball out on opening day. Fastball away. If you make him beat you, they should make him go to right center field.
Low, and he missed, and that was at 98. Throw over, and it almost got away, but Gallo had it.
I don't know if he knew he caught it.
I wasn't sure if he was trying to deke him or if maybe he didn't know it was in there.
That glove is a little bigger than a third baseman's glove, so he may have said, did it go in there? Watch. You know, you're right. You can see first baseman deke like the ball got away, but I really think he didn't know he had it. He was looking for it. That can hide in that big first baseman's glove now.
The 1-1. Bloop. Back goes Odor and makes the over-the-shoulder catch, and Brantley has to scurry back. And so now there are 2 down.
See, that's what I was thinking can happen. Just didn't get it out there far enough with that outfield so deep with the no doubles, but Odor able to get out there in time to make the play and get the second out. So the Indians down to their last out.
And Jose Ramirez will be their last hope to try and keep it alive here tonight. He has walked and scored their only run back in the 2nd inning. In fact, until Brantley got the single here in the night, they didn't have a hit since that 2nd inning.
Right.
When Chisenhall drove home Ramirez with the game's first run. Now here is Jose, who has had a phenomenal month. And the pitch is hit in the air to left. Mazzara makes the catch. And the Rangers even the series with a 2-1 victory here tonight. Well, kind of a disappointing game for the Indians from the standpoint that, and after last night's game, you figured, boy, they've got some momentum, swinging the bats a lot better, but it just goes to show you that in baseball, momentum doesn't mean a thing.
No,
because Tyson Ross came out, and even though, as I said, he wasn't magical or special, but they only gave up 2 hits in 6 innings. So what can you say?
Well, I'll tell you what, it was a totally different game than last night. This is the first time they weren't able to get to that bullpen from the Texas Rangers. It was a good ball game all the way around. There was, you know, I told you 28 hits in yesterday's game, and what was there? 6 hits in tonight's ball game by both teams, a 2-1 score. So that they even the series, and that's got to be a big boost for that Texas Ranger ball club.
Well, time now for our Pat O'Brien Chevrolet play of the game.
And it's going to be with 2 outs on the first pitch. The 35th home run that the Rangers have hit on the first pitch this year. And that's how they scored tonight. 2 solo home runs. They continue to score via the long ball.
The 450th of his career, huh?
Yes, it was.
Well, disappointed crowd filing toward the exits as the Indians fall short by a final score tonight of 2-1. We'll be back with you tomorrow night for game 3 of this 4-game series. Until then, enjoy your evening.